Welcome to NYNJPA Weather, your weather source for the Northern Mid-Atlantic. I'm meteorologist Stephen DiMartino. And well, while November is ending on a quiet note, December looks like it's going to be starting off on a rather cold and stormy pattern. Let's take a look at this forecast. High pressure this morning is basically sitting right over New York City, which means the entire Northern Mid-Atlantic can expect a rather tranquil start to this week. Temperatures are going to be a bit warmer than what we saw this weekend, with highs back to normal in the upper 40s to lower 50s. For the most part, it will be a rather pleasant day for late November. Winds will be light and skies will be clear, so it's going to be a perfect day today. And we can expect similar conditions through tonight into tomorrow. In fact, as the high pressure center moves off the east coast, well, we're actually going to warm up to slightly above normal temperatures. The advertisement of 60-degree temperatures, which I really wasn't buying into in the model guidance, is now backed off, which doesn't really surprise me because this high pressure system is not moving southeast of the region, it's moving northeast of the region. And that produces a southeasterly to southerly wind, which means that the air mass is coming off the Atlantic, which typically leads to a cooler environment than, let's say, if the air mass was coming directly from the Mississippi River Valley. So temperatures tomorrow will warm up into the mid to upper 50s for the most part throughout the region. Warmest conditions will likely be around the Philadelphia metropolitan area. Then the cold front that is currently developing over the plains approaches the northern mid-Atlantic by Wednesday. And that is looking to be a rather stormy day. Let's take a look at the latest forecast from the European model guidance from Penn State EWAL, an excellent website for all your model needs. Now this is the model guidance at 850 millibars. I wanted to point this out to show you the intense thermal gradient with this cold front. We go from anywhere around 8 degrees Celsius to about 4 to 6 degrees below 0 Celsius. And that is a rather tight thermal gradient for a cold front. And that's going to lead to very heavy downpours on Wednesday afternoon, followed by temperatures just crashing through the 40s and 30s throughout the region. So when you leave on Wednesday morning, expect temperatures in the upper 40s, lower 50s. It's not too bad out. By the time you leave work on Wednesday afternoon, it is going to be much colder, with temperatures falling into the lower 40s and upper 30s. You could even see a few snowflakes mixing in with the rain as the cold front blasts through. And if you are traveling anywhere near the Great Lakes, watch out for some significant lake effect snow, especially east of Lake Ontario and Lake Erie. So this is going to be a very, very brutal turn of events for you on Wednesday afternoon, evening. So if you have any plans to go out Wednesday afternoon, evening, be prepared. What happens after that? Well, when we look at the 500 millibar pattern, the 500 millibar trough that's associated with this cold front starts to lift off towards the Canadian Maritimes. And that's going to set up a very interesting pattern as we move into this weekend. For the end of this week, we're going to have a polar air mass build into the northern Atlantic. We're going to return to temperatures only reaching the upper 30s to lower 40s for highs. Combine that with a northwesterly wind anywhere from 10 to 20 miles per hour, and you are dealing with some wind chills in the 20s and 30s for Thursday and Friday. So it's going to be a cold end to the week with a potential for a few scattered snow showers here and there, especially over northeastern Pennsylvania, northwestern New Jersey, and the Hudson Valley. Most of that's going to be lake-enhanced snow showers that are able to move off Lake Ontario and just travel within the 500 millibar pattern towards the northern Mid-Atlantic. I'm not expecting much in the way of any accumulation, of course. Now, by Saturday, this upper-level pattern transitions to a negative NAO pattern. And what that means is that the trough that is over the Mid-Atlantic on Wednesday evening is going to transition towards the Canadian Maritimes and set up a negative NAO block. Meanwhile, we have energy that's over the Pacific by Wednesday evening, traveling through the United States, interacting with this block. What does that lead to on Sunday? Now let's take a look at the model guidance. Again, I'm using the European model guidance because I think this guidance has the best handle on the overall setup for this storm. And on Sunday, what I'm expecting is that our first disturbance, because there's going to be two of them, first disturbance is going to move off the Mid-Atlantic coast. I think that the model guidance overall is having a hard time dealing with this disturbance and the evolution of the pattern overall. And I think that this disturbance is going to be slightly further north than what model guidance is currently showing. So I'm looking for a potential for some light snow on Sunday. How much? I'm not sure. However, I do want to emphasize light here. I do not envision this storm being a major influence, major impact on the northern Atlantic as far as snow or ice accumulation, but it will be an impact nonetheless on Sunday morning. And that storm is going to lead to more storms as we move forward. And when we look at 850 millibars, we can see that this low pressure system, now again, imagine that this map is a little bit further north. Adjust the thermal gradient a little bit further towards the coast to the northwest, and it sets up a highway, let's say, of a tight thermal gradient for storms to track along. Now, why is that important? Well, when we move further into the forecast, you'll see exactly why that's important, because this thermal gradient will, one, enhance the light snowfall that I'm expecting on Sunday morning, but also enhance the disturbance that is going to move through the southern plains. And at the surface on Sunday, we can also see this low pressure center developing. I think that it's a little bit too strong for my liking also on the model guidance. I expect this to be a weak low because it's going to be moving quickly and will have some shearing influences because of the way that this pattern is developing. But this low pressure center will, I think, be a little bit further north and west than what the current guidance is suggesting, which means a little bit more of an impact than what is expected right now on the model guidance and some weather sources. In short, it is not going to be a sunny day on Sunday. And instead, look for a little bit more of a wintry impact. Moving forward to next week. Now we move into next week, and this is when the pattern gets very interesting. Now, there are some aspects that we don't know about this potential storm, and there are some indications I think the models have are just a little bit too far south. I go into great detail on why that's the case in the premium discussions, which I invite all of you to check out for only $10 a month. Now, this storm is going to be one to watch. When we look at 850 millibars, you can see that this storm is developing off of a very tight thermal gradient that is set up off the southeast and mid-Atlantic coast, and we have very cold air set up over New England and the northern Atlantic. Again, remember what I said about shifting this track a little bit further north and shifting this thermal gradient a little bit further north, and you could see the potential impacts that could develop for New York City and Philadelphia by next week. And when we look at the surface pattern, we can clearly see that we have a very intense storm that is starting to develop off the mid-Atlantic coast. All the models show that this potential in this time period for a major winter storm to develop. The question is how, where, and when. For the most part, I think I have this storm handled pretty well on the premium discussions. I'm still not ready to go into detail, but I think I know what's going to happen. So I invite all of you again to check out the premium discussions, and if you're not a member, today's an ample time to join and stay ahead of this storm. Thank you for choosing NYNJPA Weather as your weather source for the Northern Mid-Atlantic. I'm meteorologist Stephen D. Martino. Have a great day.